In this video, we are going to learn about the MVI architecture in Android. So hey everyone, my name is Ankur Upadhyay and welcome to the Ankur Code. So MVI stands for the Model View Intent. So let's create model, which is basically a business logic, then a view in which we are going to handle our view models and our view related content, and intent. So in intent, it basically tells about our intention of what we are going to do. So when we create it, you can understand it. Then first let me create an counter application. In counter, we are creating an business logic for that. So just create a very simple business logic. So use that counter, currently 0. Let's create a function called increment, and in which we just increment the counter. Then we have a decrement, which we are going to decrement the counter, and the last one, get counter. So just get the counter. So this is our business logic. Let's create an intent. For the intent, so what the things we can do first, what is our intention to do. So let's create a counter intent. So what is our intention over there? We have to increment or decrement. So what we can do is increment and decrement. Okay, now let's create the action. What are the actions user can perform? So use the counter action. So user can click on increment, or user can click on decrement. Now we have to, after clicking on that, we have to handle the result as well. So use that counter result. In that counter result, we need the counter value. Okay, so what we can create is counter data class, and we can say is updated counter. So we can get the updated value over there, which is an integer type. So we have done with our intent, we have done with our model. Let's create a view model for this. So let's create a counter view model, and in that just create a view model, and we have to manage this UI state. So let's create a data class to manage the counter UI state, which is nothing but a data class in which we just hold the data. So because we are using the counter variable, so this counter is an initial value will be a 0. Okay, we have done with that, and let's use it in view model. For using into the view model, what we have to do is create a private val UI state to maintain the UI state, which is a mutable StateFlow type, and in which we have to pass the counter UI state value, so which hold our UI related data or values. So that's the best practice in MVI. After that, make a public UI state which we are going to use in our UI. So let's create as StateFlow, so we can get the observer value every time. Now so we make it immutable. Now we need this business class as well. So counter model is equal to counter model. Now we come to our main part, which is handle the intent. Okay, so I create a public function which is handle intent. In that handle intent, which kind of intents we can handle? So we can use the counter intent, use not the while, use a which. Okay, sorry, not which, it's called when. In intent, what are the things we can means what are the intentions we have? We can increment, we can decrement. Okay, so these are two intentions. Now what happen if user click on that? So handle action. So it is best practice to create the action and intent and result differently, so we can easily identify where we use what kind of things. So counter action, use that when gain for the action, and in that action what we have called user can click on increment, user clicked on decrement. Okay, after that I have to handle the result. So let's create the handle result. So make it private so no one can access outside from the view model, and use the result. So we have the counter result, so we can easily identify all the result, intent and actions at one place. Now we use when in that result, and if its result is, we have only updated counter kind of result, and in that what we are going to do is update the UI state. So let's update the UI state. In that we have the counter UI state, and we have to pass the result over there. Okay, result dot counter, so it will update into the UI. Now after selecting anything, we handle the result, and in that we can use a counter result, and in counter model, which is our business logic, we can get the counter. Okay, now in the handle action, we use the clicked increment, and in that we handle action we can clicked decrement. Now so we have intention of increment or decrement, so what we want to do, we can use it. After that we have to take action. So if we have the intention of increment, what action we have to perform? So we have to perform the increment action, which available into our business logic. So use the counter model dot increment and counter model dot decrement. So this is our okay, so this show this error that counter result dot update counter. Now it's solved. So we have done with our view model, and let's use the UI. So you can move this UI into the view. I am not doing this, so you can take your call. Use this column. In that column, use modifier for that. In the modifier, let's use that padding from the scaffold. Make it the full screen with maximum size, and make it a center. So horizontal center, vertical center. Now sorry, okay, now we have to use the text to show the counter value. For that we need that counter value. First we have to initialize the view model, so use that view model, which is nothing but the counter view model, and we can use view models that one. And UI state, I want the life cycle into the scaffold, so I'm just use that UI state by view model dot UI state dot collect as with life cycle, so it will automatically get destroyed after its Jetpack Compose is going to destroy. Okay, now we have to import this, so it's gone. Now we have to use that counter value. Okay, so we can make it counter model private, and UI state, we have that value. Okay, so okay, I'm not going to use that view model thing, UI state dot counter, that's why it showed the error. Now I have to use that button. In that button we just simply increment the counter, so for that we have to use the handle view model dot handle intent, so we can easily handle the intent. So what are the intent we want to use is increment, so everything rest of the things we can handles automatically in view model. It's called increment. Same thing for the decrement, the counter decrement, the counter call is decrement. We have done with our code. Let's run it and see the output. So this is a very simple way of implementing the MVI. So whenever I increment, you can see the update. When I decrement, you can see the update. So basically what are our intention, we use in intent, what on that intention what action we have to use, we use action, and after that action what result we get into the result. So these three states into the our MVI. So that's our best practice that I'm used. So we can do the different things as well, like make it private and all these things. So that's all about MVI. If you have any question and suggestion, you can ask me into the comments. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.